Jalen Milroe. We've been saying it here. I've been saying it for a long time. I think he's going to end up being Alabama's quarterback. Paul Feinbaum comes out yesterday and says he thinks that Jalen Milroe is going to be Alabama's quarterback. And I think that what that would mean for Alabama is it just fits in more with Tommy Rees's comfortability. It also fits in more with the personnel that Alabama has this year. I think Alabama has really good players out at receiver. I don't think they have the elite of the elite that they've had the last couple of years, but I think they have guys that are fully capable of hurting you at any point in a football game, whether it's Isaiah Bond, whether it's Kobe Prentice, whether it's Ja'Cory Brooks, whether it's Benson, the junior college transfer. Of course, they got Jermaine Burton back, and then they've got Kendrick Law and Emmanuel Henderson. I think when you talk about these guys, it's a total sum of the parts is very, very impressive, but not one just total game breaker at receiver like Alabama has had in the past. And you just need a guy who, in terms of throwing the ball, can distribute it to the different people. But Alabama's identity is going to be, okay, getting that big offensive line going downhill because they are big. I think they'll be better at run blocking than they are pass blocking. Okay, I don't think you've got, just the most polished pass protectors on that offensive line. I think there is some depth issues at tackle when it comes to experience depth. Now, people say all the time, oh, they've got 4 and 5 stars stacked in there. That may be the case, but if you are a freshman in the 2 deep, that is troublesome for you on offensive line, okay? And then Caden Proctor, who knows, he could end up starting for Alabama this year. We know he's a 5-star. We know he's a blue chip prospect. He's a guy that everybody wanted, but I'm just telling you, just like at times Jaden Daniels was running for his life with those 2 freshman tackles at LSU last year, they've kind of had a year to grow up. I think you'll see him, Jaden Daniels, be more protected. Jalen Milroe has the legs to be able to handle some of those breakdowns. He is electrifying. I think he can create. But Nick Saban talked about how he looks more comfortable in the pocket. If Jalen Milroe can win from the pocket with the type of athleticism and explosiveness that he has as a runner as well, it's going to make Alabama's offense much, much more dynamic. I think he's got a really, really strong arm. Accuracy is the question there. Can he just accurately distribute the ball to his playmakers there? Like I said, Bond, Law, Henderson, Brooks, Burton, Prentice. There's so many names out there on the perimeter that you can get the ball to. I think they've got some talented tight ends as well. They got Dupree coming over from Maryland. I think that there's guys in the red zone that are going to be matchup problems. And we know that Alabama has really good running backs that are going to be able to carry the load and help out as well, that you can kind of turn and hand the ball over to. Amari Niblack at tight end, guys, down in the red zone, though, is a matchup problem. He's a big, big kid that has kind of grown into his body a little bit. 6'4", 6'5", depending on where you look, 235, 240 pounds, long arms, can go up and high point the football. So that is going to be an interesting thing for Alabama. But I think that Jalen Milroe being the guy for Alabama, which I have said for weeks now, I think he's going to be the guy. I think that would just make Alabama's offense more dynamic early on. I don't know that necessarily it's an open and shut case that it's done, that Ty Simpson won't be turned to at some point if there are some struggles, because, hey, you don't just get more accurate overnight. You have to prove that you're able to do that. But I think Jalen Milroe with Tommy Rees and what they're wanting to do identity-wise and being able to run the football and then have the design quarterback runs off of it, also some play-action passes, get the RPO game going with a guy like Jalen Milroe. Very dynamic for Alabama on paper. Their defense is going to be great. I don't think Alabama is going to have to score, up in the high numbers like they have in the past couple of years with Bryce Young, with Tua Tagovailoa, all that kind of stuff. I think you're going to look more, okay, can Jalen Milroe be a version of Jalen Hurts, but maybe even more dynamic in terms of speed and running the football? Because I think that Jalen Milroe is a game breaker and probably the best running back on Alabama's team when it comes to natural instincts with the ball in his hand. So that is what that could mean for Alabama. A lot of people, you saw all the ESPN pundits, Kirk, Desmond, Pat McAfee, all these kind of guys, Reese Davis, all these guys pick Alabama to win the SEC. Listen, I think you got to get past LSU first. They're the champs of the West right now that are defending, and I think they did nothing but get better. So it's going to be an interesting matchup with them. I think Texas A&M is a really good team this year that is going to put it all together. And then, of course, Georgia has something to say with being the back-to-back national champions, and then they'll be waiting on Alabama and Atlanta, in my opinion, in that SEC championship game, if Alabama does indeed get there. And I don't think you can just pencil in anybody over Georgia after these last couple of seasons. But I do think if Jalen Milroe is in fact the quarterback for Alabama, it just brings a whole new level of frustration for defenses because of his legs, because of the things that they can do. I just think the dynamic of how their receiver room, that receiver position is built, allows them to say, hey, we don't need to have a guy who's going to sit back there, Peyton Manning style, and just carve people up. We're going to have receivers that can win. We're going to have receivers that can get some separation. We need a guy who can just give them a chance to make a play, and then also can make up for any kind of mistakes that maybe some of the younger players on the offensive line make, and erase some of those with his legs by escaping pressures, things of that nature. I think Jalen Milroe can do that.